right. So today we'll start our yin yoga practice. We'll work on the pathway of the vagus nerve mostly, which includes the neck and all the internal organs down into the abdominal cavity. Then we'll open up the hips. And of course, some shoulders may be addressed along the way, and we'll have a nice practice. So let's go ahead and sit first comfortably. And we'll get our hands to rest comfortably on the knees. As you inhale, lengthen the spine and relax the shoulders. Check in with your breath and see where you are now. Observe the quality of the breath. We notice next the pathway of the breath as we inhale, feeling a touch at the base of the nostrils, traveling down to the back of the throat, into the upper lobes of the lungs, expanding the chest, rib cage, traveling somehow along the side of the pathway of the vagus nerve. And feel it even expanding your belly. So you're massaging these internal organs with a breath. Deepen the breath. See if you can expand into the belly. And as you exhale, gently squeezing the navel to the spine, releasing the air out. And feel this gentle massage you can create in the abdomen with this intention in the belly, squeezing in and releasing. Another breath. So we are slowing down the breath and we're making it more meaningful and deeper. With intention. Keeping the eyes closed, focusing internally. You may notice the breath's quality changing. Longer, deeper, softer, smoother, maybe. Observing. And when we get overstimulated due to doing too much, rushing around, stress and tension arises, and it activates the vagus nerve, and we become quite anxious, quite erratic. So this simple sitting meditation can soothe the vagus nerve. So we'll practice this first. Then we will start some movement as we inhale, come back to neutral, open the eyes, and we're going to start to move to the left and then forward and right and back, accentuating the side movement a little bit more. Kind of feel how this nerve can wave down into the body. Even moving the head a little bit, rotating it back and then out to the side. Just involving all the body parts. Squeezing the navel to the spine as we reach back. Really slow and mindful movement. Releasing also any tension along the sides of the body, the rib cage, the diaphragm, low back. And let's go ahead and reverse direction with the next inhalation. Good, and come on back into center. And now we'll do the same movement with the neck. So we're gonna start with chin to the chest. And as we exhale, we're first gonna go just to the right side and then back down in center and to the left. Just a half circle to begin with. Very gentle, very smooth. Starting to activate the vagus nerve and opening the cervical vertebrae in the back of the neck. And now we'll create a smooth connected circle all the way around. So bring the gaze up and back and then side and then forward. Just reading using your eyes along with the movement. And notice every centimeter, every millimeter of movement you create. Notice any tightness that you encounter. And breathe into those areas of more restriction. Open them up with your intention and with the breath energy along with the movement. And go ahead and switch direction now. All right, back into center. And let's switch the legs, cross them the other way. We're gonna sit here a little bit more. And I'm gonna bring the right hand back. Press it into the floor. Keep the chin neutral and shoulder open. And look back over the right shoulder. We can also press the right knee with the left hand. Keeping the spine tall and aligned. Shoulder in its socket. Chin parallel with the floor. Left knee presses down. And right knee is helped by the left hand. And let's go ahead and drop the chin towards the right side, a little bit more down towards the chest. And if you are able to let go of that left hand from the knee, we're going to circle it back around the waist towards the other side, creating a 90-degree at the elbow. And hold here for a few more breaths to open up the left side. Deepen the breaths and notice any blockages. Release the left hand first. Bring it to the center and then the right hand. We're going to switch sides. Left hand is going to go to the left. Keep the spine tall. Look over your left shoulder. Right hand can go to the left knee. Press it down, creating this crossover motion action in the body. And continue to breathe. Focus the mind on the breath and on the deepest sensation, working on releasing it, making it gentler, smoother, kinder. And now reach down with the chin a little bit more. Breathe here. Bring that right hand around the waist. Notice how you can open into the right side from the base of the neck into the deltoid down the arm. And inhale, bring that hand back to the center and then the other hand. All right, see how the neck feels. Check into the movement, both directions. And we'll add a direct right side stretch. So we're gonna bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Just let the head hang. You don't have to add any weight. And if you want, you can put the left foot on top of the right if you're able to do the half lotus that way. If you do need to put a hand down, you can, but you should be able to just holding on the knee to let this stretch happen most naturally. Notice the length you create on the left side. You may pull from the shoulder all the way into the skull. We're lengthening this whole area and we're activating the vagus nerve, the cranial nerve number 10. That has to do with improving our mood. It transports serotonin that is produced in the gut all the way to the brain. So we need to move all these body parts all the way into the neck to make this pathway of the vagus nerve be really activated. So we're starting at the top. And gravity helps you along, so you don't have to do anything. And let's go ahead and inhale, slowly coming up. Take a moment to notice how short the right side feels now. So let's make that one even. Drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And reconnect to the breath, present in your body, present with each sensation, noticing the flow of chi you're allowing to happen on the right side of the body. And inhale, bring it back and take a moment to feel, maybe do some irregular movement to kind of get any kinks out of the base of the neck. Shrugging the shoulders helps, so do a couple of those. All right, and see how you feel. Now we will release the legs for bound angle pose. And we can get our big bolster to rest our head on. So we're gonna lean forward and we're gonna have a connection with something. So we may not even need a bolster that high, whichever position you need it. Maybe you need it on a block. So you may reach it this way. So find a place where you can actually rest your head on the bolster. So it's a forward fold, whichever variation you want to do. If you're close enough, but still not all the way up, you can put 2 blocks or 1 block underneath, whatever works so you can reach it. And forehead resting. On this one, we are activating the kidneys, the water filtration mechanism in the body, and the adrenal glands to help us with hormonal release of adrenal hormones. So we can cope with stress. As you close the eyes, focus the eyes up into the eyebrow point. So you're focusing into that third eye point for intuition and inspiration. That will increase your concentration. The simple touch of the forehead on the bolster is going to imprint whatever you want to imprint in that area. Focus, attention, concentration, inspiration or intuition. We also activate here the spleen meridian inside of the legs and into the groin. And we're stretching the sides of the ankles. Inhale, rise back up. And we'll transition to the second stage of this fold. We're going to extend the legs out. And the left leg comes on top. So cross the legs with the left leg on top. Slide forward and let the body hang wherever you get very gently. The top leg is going to be very tight here, very intense. So you may lean a little bit. This time we're going to get the head hang heavy, stretching, lengthening the whole back. So here, if your hands got all the way to the feet, you can separate the feet aside. Or if they go to the side of the legs, they can just rest on the floor or on the top of the knees. And as you hold, the low back gets to really release and open the most compressed area in the body, the lumbar vertebrae, especially L4 and L5. They get to really fuse together or get compressed and create pinched nerves and so forth. So this pose is very crucial for people that sit or drive a lot, or even stand, because we always compress and gravity doesn't help. So now we're reversing that. Let's gently inhale and walk the hands back in. And we'll switch. The left leg goes down, right leg on top. It's gonna feel different because the top leg is activated now. And reach forward again, find your edge, your comfortable edge. Let the head hang heavy, lengthening the back of the neck. Soften the face, let go of any expression. Soften the jaw, back of the throat. And your chin slightly tucks in here, which will create a compression in the thyroid and parathyroid glands for good energy. Noticing the sensations, the heat, maybe the urgency to move, and try to resist that. Be really still and patient. Letting the stretch, the time lapse, take effect in your body, creating the magic, the transformation, the healing. And this will activate the sciatic nerve as well. So if you do feel any tingling sensation, it's okay. But if you feel any electric shock sensation or too much sensation, back off. And inhale now, slowly lift back. Now we're gonna bend the knees in that lotus again. Recenter the body. Now we're gonna reach to the right and just walk the hands out to the right as well. So your chin may come in inward and forehead may get close to the knee. So see how that feels right there. So now we are opening more into the left side from the left hip crest into the side body. but still lengthening the spine, pulling from underneath the left shoulder blade, and just opening the body on the left. Notice the strongest sensation in the body now, and keeping your attention on it, transform it. Inhale, walking the hands to center. We're going to transition towards the left side in the same position. Connect with the breath. Find that pose where you can be still. Let the breath take you to an open space in your body. And let's inhale now. Come on back to center gently. Lift up, and we'll release the legs out to the side now. We can get a bolster or the block in front. It's gonna lean forward, so we will need that support again. So we're gonna exhale, slide the hands down the legs or down in the front, and find that place where you can hold on the block to begin with, and then we will let go of the block. So right now, the hamstrings are getting used to this, so we are allowing them to work. And then we're gonna add more intention in the back area, shoulders and neck, and the whole spine. And now let's let go of the block or support and just let the body hang and the neck lengthen here. So find your pose, your edge here before it becomes uncomfortable. Back off if it is. And connect with that deeper breath. For the hamstrings, for the low back. Relax the jaw, relax the face. Just let that forward fold happen naturally for you. You may start to pull on one side of the low back and not the other. You may have some compression on that side, some shortening of the vertebrae, some worn out discs. And you can feel that small imbalance. It's going to be more tense. It's going to give you some feedback. Just breathe and let go through the exhalation, releasing any tension, any stagnation. All right, so let's go ahead and inhale and lift here gently. And we'll transition to the next one. Can we both sit on the heels? Is this accessible to you, or you need something underneath the knees? So we're gonna sit like this and then walk our hands back either on the floor or on the block to open the chest and the front of the shoulders. So we may need the blocks there to rest our hands on. And we allow the head to fall back. It's an open chest, open hips, and we open the knee joint as well. Yeah, if you cannot sit on the knees, sit on your tailbone, of course. That's good. Bolster. And even, yeah, it's on both sides. Do you need the blocks behind the bolster to put your hands on there, or you're okay like that? 2 more breaths there. All right, and walk it in and come on out. Next one, we're gonna do an open straddle for the inner thighs. So we'll come sideways on the mat so we can have the knees as far out as we can, and then the feet further out. And then again, we drop down on the block or bolster right in the front. If you need something soft under the knees, you can use your blanket and drop the body forward, but you do want to keep the knees and the hips aligned. Yeah. This is a frog pose, looking like froggies. To really open up the groin, the inner thigh, the lymphatic flow in the groin. It's very beneficial for the hips. We're opening them up in the direction. All right, let's go ahead and walk the feet closer together first, and then walk the hands back in. And let's transition on our sit bones, and we'll get our block, and we'll rest it on the sacrum. So we're gonna go vertical, put it against your back. Then as you lean back, it's gonna support your whole sacrum area. So I'm gonna drop back onto the block, and then the head can either be on the bolster, the small one, or the blanket, if you need it. The legs are long, so we can feel the stretch in front of the thighs. So we have the support kind of halfway down your glutes. You're gonna feel them between the maximus and minimus right there. That's where the block would be supporting almost to your tailbone. All right. This opens our hips, and it does open the chest a little bit as well. So let your feet fall to the side and your arms to the side in a T. This is going to activate the whole front side of the vagus nerve through the chest into the abdominal cavity. It's great for anxiety and panic. It opens up the chest below the heart and the rib cage level. And it increases the activity of the intestines, pancreas, liver. And you may feel these tiny muscles of the quadriceps and also at the hip flexor level are really opening and struggling there a little bit. And you may go down the front of your quads all the way to the knee. So vagus nerve also takes the serotonin that we produce in the gut and takes it back to the brain. So we increase our happiness level. And for a few breaths, we're going to bring the feet together in bound angle and experience this just for 5 breaths. Toes and heels touch, and let the knees fall to the side. This opens up this area, this triangle in the body, the 3 lower chakras, including the sexual organs, so the 2nd chakra level. Very good for this area below the navel. All right, so we will gently bring the knees back in and feet to the side, knees together. Then we remove the block gently and slowly drop the low back to the floor. And feet stay to the edge of the mat and create this windshield wiper kind of movement to release any tension in that low back. And keep the knees hovering to the right a little bit. Inhale, center, hover to the left. And back in. For the last pose, we're gonna get either our small bolster or big bolster underneath the back. Most likely the small one. Try. And put it again at your tailbone, and you're gonna drop down to open the chest. And if this isn't enough, you can always use a big bolster. If your back wants a bigger sway, then we can bring the big bolster underneath. I kind of like the big one. So your sit bones are on the floor. You really create a very supported back bend and a chest opener. Arms can be down by the sides or out a little bit, so you can feel those pecs opening and releasing. Good. This is Matsyasana, the fish, the supported fish. Notice how you can breathe freely here with the chest vulnerable but open and free. Fill up the lungs all the way to the lowest alveolar sacs and all the way to the top below the shoulder, below the collarbones. Notice where the tension is in this pose and focus your attention there and bring your breath's energy to transform and transmute that stagnant energy. And now let's bring the arms up overhead, interlacing above the head, maybe on that bolster, and let the elbows fall to the side. Stretching under the armpit for the lymphatic flow, the biceps as well, and the pecs. All the way to the side of the rib cage. Now, if you would like to transition to Shavasana, do so. We can cover our legs with a blanket, or we can raise the legs this time with a bolster underneath the knees if you'd like. See what feels most beneficial right now. Your body is your best judge. And let the body go into the earth. Maybe move your head from side to side, just noticing how it's doing. And then come back to center. And find a place where you can hold and be still for the next 5 minutes, where we really take the time to allow the body to process, to integrate all the benefits of all the shapes we took today, creating a new puzzle with greater energy than before. Focus on the rhythm of your breath, noticing the rising and fall of the abdomen. Just connecting with this energy of life, this chi, this force, this prana. You can store directly in your lower belly. Right below the navel is the pranic center where we can store the chi, the prana, the energy. So breathe in into the lower belly, maybe resting your hands on the belly. Noticing the longer pauses between the breaths and the longer exhalations. Because the body is at rest, you can actually breathe less. It doesn't use much energy when it's in perfect state of balance. So I bring the body more and more into homeostasis and the nervous system into the parasympathetic response, away from doing and just simply being and enjoying the benefits. Now we will walk the feet in and let go of the bolster so we can have that low back really connect back with the earth. So bring the knees together, feet apart to the edges of the mat. Let your low back sink into the mat. Neutral for your low back for the next 3 breaths. And then we'll bring the knees to the center of the chest and hug them in. Stretching even further that whole lower back area. And rock side to side gently. Drop the knees to the left. Stay there for a little bit with your left hand on top. And head turns to the right. Feel and enjoy the supine twist in the spine. And inhale back to center and drop the knees to the right. arm and head to the left. And go ahead and bring the left hand to the right as well and start to come on up slowly. Back to a seated position so we can receive all the benefits. Sit back into your center. Bring the hands to the chest. Being grateful for our practice, for our bodies, for our health, for all the yoga that we get to do and be to create wholeness in our body, mind, and spirit. Bring the hands up to the eyebrows, to the mouth, and to the heart. Namaste. All right. Ooh, it's starting to get dark already. Have a good evening. Thank you. See you Sunday, Jane. I know we saw him yesterday. I did dance. Yeah. He's got a big curve. Oh yeah, yeah. She's like, you know, in the summer, I think it's much cries. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Summer. Yeah. It's hot. She's what I normally kind of dog. Oh, that's like thank you very much. So yeah. Runs just ahead of me. Hey, yeah. Wear yourself out, right? Yeah, right. Thank you very much. Good night.